how to make an NBC suit to protect you from the coronavirus and to prepare you for it. Today we're going to be taking a look at exactly that. Now, this isn't usually something that I tend to do for a video, so to speak. This is kind of like a tutorial thing, I guess you could say. I don't know. It's not my style, but I'm doing it for you guys to prepare you all for the inevitable, as people are saying. It's not the end of the world, don't worry. It's just a bit of fun, I guess. But it works. It works. So, first off, we need to understand what NBC is. It's nuclear, biological, chemical. Now, this is mainly a military phrase in military uniform, used in events such as biohazard stuff, so stuff to do with radiation and stuff to do with if a chemical agent like gas, or like we're doing now, viruses and some other pathogen, whatever. So there's a few main things we need to think about. A regular NBC suit is, well, if you were to get a real one, they are very expensive. I want to say they're around the amount of money you'd spend on a gaming PC or on a very cheap second-hand car. However, we're going to be improvising today and coming up with our own. So the first thing you need to think about when making this is you need to think of the areas where it's going to affect you. It's not something that can burn through your skin. It can only spread through cuts or open wounds. It can spread through you touching your mouth or your nose or your eyes. Okay, it can spread through anything which is open to your body. So the first thing you're going to want to think about is a mask to stop you breathing in stuff. Now, before you're like, oh, well, I'll just go buy a box of them surgical masks. No, don't. Surgical masks don't do anything. Okay, surgical masks are designed to stop you breathing out stuff. So this is why surgeons use them. So when they're operating on someone and messing around with their insides, it's so that when they cough, they don't cough all of whatever illness they have onto the patient. It's not. They don't stop you breathing stuff in, so don't wear them. You see a lot of people wearing them saying they'll protect you. They won't. They will not. So please don't get surgical masks for you and you think that's okay protection, because it's not. What you'll want to get, if anything, you'll want to get a painter's mask. And as you know, painter's masks, they're the white kind of domey kind of hard things. Painters wear these to stop them breathing in chemicals from the paint or spray paint, whatever they're doing. So these will actually protect you a slight bit. Of course, it's not the best of protection, however, it will protect you to a decent extent. So if you want to upgrade from that, you've got your better terms of protection, and this is when you get into your filters. And for the most part, you can get half-face gas mask, which just cover up your nose and your mouth and leave your eyes open, and you can put a filter on and that'll protect you just fine. However, if you touch something and then you're like, oh, I'm going to rub it in my eye, oh no, coronavirus is now going to be spreading through your eye and you're going to be ill within probably the next few days to weeks to come. So it's probably not best. In my opinion, your best kind of form of protection is to jump to military grade, and that is where items such like these and filters, which you can obviously get onto the side, or double filters, whatever your style is, that's when these can start coming into good use. Now, if you're thinking that, oh well, my granddad gave me one of his gas masks from World War I or World War II or the Cold War, something along the lines of this. Unfortunately, these things probably won't protect you, because 9 out of 10 times the filters which actually go into these, especially with the Russian ones, tend to have asbestos in, which, as you know, asbestos probably isn't the best idea, and I'd much rather take the 1% lethality chance than get lung issues at an early age. So please try to avoid these unless you're like, just don't use them. Just don't use them, please. Now, the next thing you want to think about is hands, okay? Gloves. Now, this you can just wear normal woolen gloves and they should keep you decent, but really, the cheapest option, even compared to woolen gloves, is just get surgical gloves. Just get latex surgical gloves or washing up gloves. Anything which is latex, waterproof, will keep you well safe. You can get a giant box of about 50 and medium or large size, however big your hands are, and you can simply use them however you wish. You can just dispose of them when you've been in and out. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any on me because they've sold out in a lot of areas next to me because of this situation, so I'll get some soon, but they will do perfectly fine. As long as you don't go rubbing your face afterwards, obviously, you should be perfectly okay. Now, let's move on to your actual body. In all honesty, you probably don't really need anything. It's not something which can go through clothing and get through your skin, but if you want to be precautious, then you can do some of the following. You can use a painter's suit, like I was talking about the painter's mask. You can get one of these suits and this can protect you. Now, I would highly recommend not using a fabric painter's suit. I'd use a waterproof one which you can wash down with disinfectant or whatever. If you're going to use a fabric one, I'd dispose of it after first time use, really. Now, there's a few other things for a very cheap option. You probably have one of these lying around at your house, and I certainly do. And that is a simple raincoat. Waterproof, easily washable down with disinfectant, whatever, and these will work just perfectly fine. And in all honesty, if you combine the gloves, surgical gloves, one of these, and even a painter's mask together, you should have really good protection against whatever's out there if it comes near. So, your final product, essentially, if you were to put all these components together, which I'll show you now, it should look something a bit like, well, should look something a bit like this. So for me, this is my final product. Of course, I've got my raincoat on. I don't have any gloves, unfortunately. And then I've got my military grade gas mask and filter on. This should keep you relatively safe and protected. Now, the only issue with this is that it's extremely hard to stay cool. It's very hot in here, so I don't want to stay in this for too long. But ideally, this is to give you a rough idea of what you should really be looking out for. I guess if you want to do something similar to what I've got at the moment. It's hard to breathe. But I hope you have enjoyed this video today. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment down below what you think of all this, and make sure to subscribe to the channel because I should be doing some more content within a few days. And like all the famous YouTubers say, hit the notification to know whenever I upload. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Your nigga really be big. Your nigga always did.